In the quiet coastal city of Seabreeze, where life moved slowly under the weight of its secrets, the most unlikely hero was about to rise. Max Carter was 16 and utterly ordinary, or so he believed. He spent his days sketching superheroes in the margins of his schoolwork, dreaming of a life far more exciting than his own. No powers, no destiny. Just another kid lost in the crowd. But everything changed on the night of the storm. It started with a sky unlike anything Max had ever seen, crackling with purple and gold lightning, as if the heavens themselves were splitting open. Max was in his room, sketchbook in hand, when a bolt of lightning struck the oak tree in his backyard, splitting it clean in half. Inside, something impossible pulsed with golden light, a glowing, swirling orb nestled within the tree's hollow. Curiosity is the spark of every great story, and Max couldn't help but reach for the light. As Max approached, the orb flared and surged toward him, piercing his chest like molten fire. Pain overtook him, and everything went dark. When Max woke, he wasn't the same. His hands glowed faintly, tiny embers sparking to life at his fingertips. Panicked, he tried to suppress them, but his curtains burst into flames. The fire didn't harm him, though. It felt alive, like it belonged to him. Over the next few days, Max learned to control his powers. With focus, he could summon fire at will, streams of flame that twisted and danced, forming weapons and shields. He was no longer ordinary, but for every gift, there's a price. In a city of light, a shadow always lurks, and its name was Ash. Ash Warren, once a respected scientist, had been studying the storm's energy when he discovered fragments of the same glowing orb that changed Max. Driven by ambition, he built a suit powered by those fragments. But Ash's power wasn't fire. It was ice. He re-emerged as Frostbite, his cold rage freezing entire city blocks. What began as experiments quickly turned into chaos. One afternoon, Frostbite unleashed his fury on Seabreeze Square. Streets froze over, cars encased in ice, and people trapped in crystalline prisons. Fear gripped the city. Max saw the destruction from his window and felt the embers in his chest roar to life. He didn't feel ready. He wasn't a hero, just a kid. But the world doesn't wait for heroes to be ready. Max stepped into the chaos, flames crackling in his hands. "Let them go!" he shouted, his voice trembling. Frostbite turned, his frosty mask hiding a cruel smirk. "And who are you supposed to be? A spark trying to light a fire?" Max didn't answer. He hurled a fireball at the ground, melting the ice around the trapped bystanders. The people ran free, but Frostbite struck back, blasting a wave of freezing energy. Max barely dodged, his flames flickering under the intense cold. The fight moved through the city, fire against ice, heat against chill. Frostbite was stronger, more experienced, and ruthless. Max was running on instinct, barely holding his own. Heroes aren't born invincible. They're born determined. Max realized Frostbite's suit was powered by a glowing shard at its center. If he could destroy it, he could stop him. But it wouldn't be easy. He lured Frostbite to an abandoned factory, the air crackling with tension. "Is this where the spark fizzles out?" Frostbite taunted, sending an icy spear hurtling toward Max. Max dodged and unleashed everything he had. Flames erupted in a blinding arc, forcing Frostbite to shield himself. Max saw his opening. With one final push, he sent a concentrated blast of fire straight at the shard. The explosion lit up the factory like a second sunrise. Frostbite's suit shattered, and Ash fell to the ground, powerless. Max stood over him, exhausted but alive. And just like that, the boy became a hero. The city hailed him as their savior, though Max felt far from it. He wasn't invincible. He wasn't perfect. But he had made a choice: to stand up, to protect, to fight. The newspapers called him Ember, a name that felt both small and powerful. As Max looked out over the recovering city, the fire within him burned steady. His journey was just beginning, but one thing was certain: he was no longer ordinary. Because true heroes aren't defined by their powers, they're defined by their courage. Every ember starts as a spark. If you enjoyed this tale and want to see more stories that ignite your imagination, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Whispered Tales, and join our journey for more extraordinary adventures.